Hello viewers, welcome back to a brand new review. So I'm going to say a few things before I rather go into this train set a wee bit. So yeah, since the last time I've done a video update, all of that, everyone said the train set will be here, and fingers crossed I hope it'll be here in 2 weeks time. I've rather got here about a month later, all of that. But I will get into the story about this train set straight away. All of that. So when this train set did arrive to me, I did have to send it back to Rail Sheffield because I have just got the locomotive running just for one day, and then the controller family decided to play up. But the Rail Sheffield have been so kind, all of that, so we did send the train set back, but they did sat down and replace the locomotive and a new controller for us. So that's rather the bonus for the Rail Sheffield. So enough from me, so let's get into the review. So what we're looking at is the Castle Pullman by Graham Farish, but this is the only train set in the range is doing DCC sound, so that's rather quite good. So let's go into it a wee bit. So that box for what you get is you would get a lovely Castle class as Defiance and 2 Pullmans. On the back of the box, all of that, so we get a wee bit more, a little bit of the Graham Farish range, all of that. So run and pause and read all like that. All of that, it does say what you get. All of that. So there, code number is 370/160. The Castle Pullman DCC train set, and that's what we get. So we did get a Castle class called Defiance, so I will go into a wee bit of history and Defiance a wee bit. 2 Pullmans, all of that. But I'm going to read this one for you lot. So I'm going to read it. So the Castle class Defiance was restored in 1988 for many years on the mainline steam specials, and this train set is actually to recreate the thrills and the rides on a steam special, joining on the Pullman luxury as you're speeding through the British countryside, as this will be the first Graham Farish train sets to come complete with DCC sound and thrill beginnings of this as a steam special as to life. So that's really quite nice. I love that. So let's go into the train set a wee bit. So what do we get? So we got a lovely sleeve. Yeah, the train set is out. So I have rubber brought it out. So we will get the layout out later. So what do you get? So you do get the rest, like the plugs and the connectors for the tracks. We do get the 2 carriages and the loco and the DCC controller. So underneath that, I do recommend to anybody, if you are beginners, go on and look at the instructions, all of that. So yeah, I did get mine from the Rail Sheffield. This one is the Collectors Club, so I do recommend to keep that. The instructions, I do recommend to go and have a look at that, so it does show you all the what you're meant to do. So there's all the details, all of that, and oil points. And it does run on talking about other things like how to take the local bits and how to do the DCC, all of that. But the locomotive has already been checked, and it does talk about how to do other things. So that's really nice. this instruction does talk about how to connect tracks up, all of that. So it's really quite nice how to go around it. And does talk about the circuits, all of that. So I do recommend for anybody who does run and read that first. Right. This one is the DCC controller center. All of that. So it does run and talk about quite a lot. So I'm not boring you the details, showing you how to connect all that. But this is rather quite run of Farish. So if Batman or Farish are listening, please rather understand. I'm not got a problem about this, but if you are doing engage, show the engage track a wee bit more. And it's like, come on, all of that. But I understand this is for double engage. It does run and talked about how to work it and everything, and this one does have a guarantee. So yeah, that's everything off what you get in the box. And I forgot to show you one more. Ta-da! I just sat down and grabbed the function. What you do get. So you will get a chance to hear 10 volumes of the controller. Does go up to 10, so it's not that bad. It does talk about other things like how to do volumes and settings, all of that, and other things. But yeah, but this is the most important thing, all of that. So you had to turn it on, had to do other things. But yeah, so it's really quite nice. So we have what you're getting in the box, all of that. Let's go and see the Locomotive and the carriages. So I'll bring that into shop. So I'll see you lot in a bit. Bye. Right, family, we're going to look at the Locomotive and the carriages at last. So yeah, so what to look at. I think I will keep the Locomotive best till last, because I think it's not much. But as the carriages, I do want to talk about a wee bit. So yeah, I think Carriage did send me 2 kitchen cars. I'm not a clue why they've done this, but it is a nice way to go on and talk about second and first. All of that. So if you don't know the Pullman's carriages that much, all of that. So yeah, so if you don't know, Pullmans do have, some of them do have cars and some of them do have mains. So the best way to remember all of that. So this is a second class Pullman we're going to look at. There's no rather the point you to show you the other one. That's really good. Yeah, so this is car number what you're meant to get in the train set. So it's number 343. So it's really quite nice. So what I like about the detail of both of them. So yeah, you do get all the details like the carriages and other things like, well, as what you say are on the typical Mark 1s. But on the Mark 1s, they don't have like separate hand details, all of that. They do have a bit of railings, all of that going through. And that's really it to talk about them. But both of them do have different interiors. So this one's got a blue interior, and this one got like a orange interior. But it's really quite nice. But they are different on both sides. So look at that. So that's really quite nice. What I like about the Pullmans. So yeah, so we will see them 2 running later on. It's not rather the talking about the carriages that much. They're just rather quite nice detail, and the delivery is correct on them. Ta-da! Right, this is the answer where we're looking for is the Locomotives itself. The loco what you get in this. So yeah, so I do run to say I will be talking about Defiance a wee bit. So the history on this is she was built for the Great Western Railway in 1943, I think. So I'll maybe get that thing wrong, but she was not called Defiance, she was called Ogmore Castle before she was renamed Defiance in 1944. I think that will be correct. And she did rather carry that name during through her whole entire working life. When she was rejoining all of that from service. She did went off to Barley scrapyard for a couple more years. Then before she was bought by Tyseley Railway Centre down in Birmingham, and she actually stayed there for quite many years. But at the moment, please go and see Defiance. At the moment, she is out of traffic at the moment, and there is rumours. Actually, this is not actually a rumour, and this is really quite true. Defiance will be returning to steam rather quite soon. So at the moment, she is going through a major overhaul really quite soon. So this is rather quite a wee bit of good news of this train set coming out, and why not to go and talk about a castle. But yeah, so let's go and talk about the castle itself. So, like myself, this is a single chimney castle. All of that. So we got all the warning stickers all around. All of that. So this is the driver's side what we're looking at. So that, if you can see it, that is a really fine handrail. The reverser and the handrail going around the boiler. We've got a copper chimney and a safety bonnet. If I'm lucky enough to go and that's better. Go and zoom in. Yeah, that's much better. So we've finally got the main Defiance. All of that, we've got her number 5080. It's really quite nice, but look at the detail vias. Look at the cylinder drain cocks. They're already been added. All of that. But I did sat down and paint them. Just to make it more interesting for you. Looking on to the tender. This is the early emblance of the Great Western. So it is rather called the GW and the crest. So this lovely is rather quite correct if you wanted to run it back in the Great Western days. But yeah, I did add my own realistic colour in the tender. All of that, I thought it was really quite nice and make it more interesting. So yeah, we've got a bit of cab detail. It's really quite nice. All of that. We got really quite a lovely rivet around that tender. What I like. We've got a bit of information on the back of the tender. Like this is a 400 gallons tender. I call it tender. Oh. Yeah, I sort that out later. That's just glue, not super glue, it's just PE glue for doing the tender. So, that's not bad. But the rest, it is different on the fireman side. So this time we don't have the reverser. We've got loads of washout plugs, we've got the whistle. And it is a really good detail model. I don't rather feel on the rather talked about anymore about the castles, all of that. About them, but they are really fantastic models. All of that. I did sat down and bought one when the minute they did got the lease, and I still got it today. But my own castle needed a bit of work. But I will be saying there will be a project on that castle really quite soon, because I am rather thinking to convert that one to a double chimney one, because they haven't bring out a double chimney one. And I'll maybe keep it with the call it tender, or maybe change it to a Hogswift tender. I really don't know, but not wanting to say. But yeah, but all of that. Look at the connecting rods, really quite silvery and realistically. Right, here we go to the front. The smoke box dart is kind of moulded. Yeah, it is moulded, but it is really quite nice. At least they painted out. We've got lamp irons around the engine. Yeah. We've got lamp irons, we've got vacuum pipes. The coupling, you do need to add that yourself, but it's really quite nice. If you knew nothing about a castle, they are 4-cylinder locomotive. So you've got 2 outside cylinders and 2 middle cylinders. So that's really quite nice. And I really quite like it that Graham Farish actually bring the cylinders really quite nice and well detailed. But yeah. So yeah. What else to talk about? I think I have showed you in the cab a wee bit. Yeah, if I zoom in, yeah, but look at that cab detail. It's really quite nice, and I will show you a better picture of that. But that's the best well detailed cab I ever seen of Farish doing that. But my only criticism on the castles a wee bit, well, I do like about them, but say if you look on the regulator, if you know what I'm talking about, that should be painted out red, but that doesn't rather. It is kind of milded on, but I think when they were doing that at the time. But what else? On my own castle, you don't rather get that pipe showing out, but that's really quite nice. But the rest is rather spot on for me. But there is loads of rivets. She does have a plastic sachet, a plastic running board, but I'm not clear that's going to make a difference. The rest is just plastic, but the sachet, but the running of this locomotive, it is really fantastic. The one of the best well runners I ever bought, and I have rather going to show you that rather quite soon. But I know everybody, so what's it like underneath? She does have traction tyres, but I think on the early ones they did not have traction tyres. I really cannot have remembered. But look all that. Yeah. Really fantastic locomotives, and it's nothing else I can't really describe. So yet again, the castle would get 10 out of 10 for me. All of that. But it's really, really well detailed and what you supposed to them. It does look like it's copyright to the real thing, and yet again, I'm not going to say Farish did rather beat Hornby. Hello viewers, right, I'm going to put the locomotive onto the trunk right now. Then we can explain a wee bit better. Right, that's the locomotive onto the truck now. Right, so that's it. Defiance. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the functions on the controller before we hear the locomotive operating. So here we go. So yeah, this is the easy demand controller center. So all of that, so I can go into the functions a wee bit. So what we got is a stop button and direction, so backward and forwards. And we've got our function, so I will play in the function in the next few minutes. Look at that, so it is only got up to 10. So, but it does run. You can change the dress on the loco as well. So it was, when you get it, it will be defaults to number 3 as all of that. But I changed it to 1, but I can't remember how I done it. But there is a clip on YouTube, it does show you how to do that, so that's a bonus. But let's see it. Here. Look at that. So I'm going to put my camera there, and let's hit it. So, function 1. So that's the injector roaring. So give me 2 seconds, viewers. Because I've got to mention something else. We do have a footprint. So I'll go into the sounds a wee bit. So number 1 is putting the sounds on. That's the brake, but it does run and brake at the same time. So number 3 is open the sanitary drilling docks. But I will keep them open, but I'm going to shut them as well. So number 4 is the whistle. Number 5 does rather control the speed, but we'll get a chance to hear that later on. Number 6 is the coal shoveling into the firebox. Really quite nice. That's the injector feeding into the boiler. But if I play number 8, That's the blower valve, and then injector on the same time. So, lock off both of them at the same time. Number 9 does now. Number 10 has placed the safety valve, but it only works. But let's hear it. Right. Send it to the drink up. The minute you open the regulator, sorry about that. Number 2 does over stop. Just saying that the 10 is on. Harder the engine works, the cylinders good. Sorry about that. So let's get up to some Pullmans then. That's the layout fault. Right. There, off we go. Yep, so I do have 3 other Pullmans to make up to a nice rake of 5 Pullmans. bang on with the Pullman. So the summary of this for not viewers, would you buy something like this? The answer will be yes. It is well worth it to buy for the castle and the Pullmans. Look at that. So it's not bad what you're getting for the money. So, well, what to say? Again, everybody did ask in my reviews where I'll be showing you how slowly and clearly they are. So I'm going to turn it up. So I can show you how. And tell you what, that's not bad for a crow either. Right, I turned the noise off, and again everybody did ask how quiet they really are. So for this one, she is really quite quiet. And tell you what, that is actually one of the best colour I've ever seen. So, the summary of this for not viewers, it is 10 out of 10 yet again. So yeah, so with the noise back on, I will be saying thank you very much for joining this review, and please run and subscribe to this channel, and I will be saying thank you really much for getting me up to 25 subscribers, and this will be the 25 subscriber special, I promise. So it's bye from me, and it is bye from Defiance. So it is time to end. Thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you lot next time. Bye.